Over this last week, I've been trying to stay in the feelings that feel good, not in a fake way and not in some overly spiritual, let's be all guru woo woo type of way either, but in I need my nervous system to feel safe kind of way. We talked about Rule 101 in Smart Girl Manifesting last week and being in your feeling space and being mindful of those feelings. And so today, rule number 102 in Smart Girl Manifesting says be mindful of your focus because what you focus on expands. And if I'm being honest, I have been focusing on everything that I don't have. And let's be honest, it's really easy to stay in a space where we do focus on the things that we don't have because the absence of them is more clear than thinking that it's there. Because that's like Delulu, right? It's easy to focus on everything that feels far away, on the things that haven't come yet. And recently, it's been driving me a little bit crazy. This week, I don't have some perfect message. I just have truth. Last week, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of rough, especially with setting an intention that I was going to do my best to stay in good feelings. Every single thing imaginable that could push me out of that space tried me. I wanted to stay in the energy of joy, and I tried. I journaled, I did my breath work, but I definitely was slipping back into cycles of lack, feeling like I still don't have the money I need. I still haven't moved yet. I'm still trying to rebuild from the ground up. I'm still grieving. Things still suck. And I caught myself spiraling into all of these things that I don't have. Focused, positive thinking is a key ingredient to achieving goals. So, pinpointing what those goals are and having something tangible to symbolize them is an essential part of the manifesting process. For so as a man thinketh, so shall he be. Be mindful of your focus because what you focus on expands. Well, I've been focusing on some gunk. It's been kind of gunky. I noticed that I will be in the car or taking a walk, and it's like one thought will lead to another, and they're all about like where I could be and where I was and why this is hard or why that's hard. And I'm just like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. We're not focusing on that anymore. We're not focusing on that. We're going to pick up the focus. It's time to pick up the focus. So in our book, focus by dictionary definition is defined as a point of concentration, directed attention, or a state or condition permitting clear perception or understanding. If you get nothing more from this entire rule book, I need you to please understand this. Your thoughts are always affecting your life. Whether they do that positively or negatively is up to you. A consistent thought plus emotion creates reality. The most common way that people attract what they don't want in life is by their focus. It's centered around the thoughts of things that we do not want. Sis, we both know it is easy to talk about all the things we don't want, but you have to understand that what you focus on expands. So stop it. It's time to change the conversation with ourselves and with others. So the book says what you focus on expands. I've noticed personally when I focus on lack or when I focus on fear, like those things tend to grow. So this week I am choosing to do my best to shift that. And as we move through these Manifesting Monday videos, I feel like, especially with this week, I want to be raw and I want to be authentic. Not coming at you from this place that I'm some magical guru who knows everything about manifesting, but more or less from the fact that I do know quite a bit, but knowing and doing are two completely different things. And so this is me being intentional and being accountable to my process of journeying through the actual doing. And of course, if you're coming with me, then we can do it together. So as I'm deciding to shift this week, it's not going to be in some like mental delusional way, but I want to really do this in a more body-based practice and incorporating more embodiment and more focus into that. Some of the questions I have written down to ask myself this week are, what am I building? What can I build that from? What are some things that I can be grateful for without having to force them? And also, truthfully, like, what feels peaceful? What actually feels peaceful? And sometimes we say that we want peace. Like, I want so much peace, but what does that feel like? What does peaceful actually feel like and look like? So this week I'm considering taking soft action, right? I think last week I shared that like I'm not a bulldozer, and that's okay. Everybody is not like that. And I think that soft action might just be the name of the game this week. So how are we doing soft action? What does soft action look like? Super simple. Obviously, that's gonna start with morning movement. I think that the movement is always going to be one of the key elements because that is how we embody having that body-based practice, you know, what you feel in your body, or even moving energy out. So maybe you don't get up and stretch or do yoga or do like slow movement, which is more of my jam. I'm gonna get up and probably move pretty slow and, you know, circle my head and do some breath. But even if you get up and you walk, right? Walking, and if you can walk for an hour, like that's perfect. If you get up and you do a little weightlifting or something to embody and be in the body. I also think that that's a great way to feel good, like embody the feeling of feeling good before anything in the outside world has an ability to trigger. And then the next thing is just going to be to continue to work on my gratitude list, right? Like continue to stay in gratitude, but not by force. Sometimes it's not easy to remember or to practice this habit of getting a journal and opening it up and writing it down. And really all of these things become about repetition, because building the discipline, building the habits, like all of these are really nothing more than practices of establishing repetition, right? That's what a ritual is. That's what a routine is. It's the repeated process of doing something. So not forcing that process, but just being really simple about it. And so for a soft week this week and for simplicity, that's going to be for me just speaking the gratitude out loud. And if I decide that I'm going to grab my journal and I'm going to write it down or put it into the notes app on my phone, then so be it. But just knowing that I can sit and speak really verbally out loud some things that I'm grateful for first thing in the morning and throughout the day, I think are going to be another way to keep that focus shifted on the things that feel good, or shifted on the things that I want, or shifted on the things that matter. And then the thoughts that trigger, right? The things and the thoughts and like all the gunk up here that triggers just feelings of lack, or feelings of unworthiness, or feelings of anger, or things that don't align with what it is that we're trying to call in. And so I want to do a simple redirect of focus. And so last week it was more about focusing on the feel good feelings and doing things to keep you in a place of feeling good, being mindful of those feelings. But this week it's going to be more about redirecting the focus when you're not in the feel good feelings. Because the reality is, as per shown by all the drama from last week, you're not always going to be in the good feelings. And even when you try, there's going to be thoughts and things that come up that you're going to have to just redirect that focus. So one of the things that I am going to work on asking myself this week when I get into those zones, or when like negative thoughts or things arise, when those feelings show up that are not conducive to, the manifesting that we want to do, that are not keeping us in a place of power or in the feel good feelings, redirecting that focus is going to look like, is this building the life that I want? Are these thoughts building the life that I want? Are these, is what I'm focusing on right now leading me toward what it is that I am saying that I desire, what it is I'm saying that I want? Are these thoughts and feelings and things that I am pouring my focus into right now, especially a consistent focus, right? Because we can wake up and stay in the same cycle every single day because the environment triggers the same feelings every single day. So is this building the life that I want? And if it's not, maybe moving beyond that to think like, okay, so what are some things that I can do to change what I'm focusing on right now? And then immediately shifting the focus to jump back into the place of power, or the feel good feelings. So is this building the life that I want, or is this focus feeding the life that I don't? Is this focus keeping me in the loop that I don't want to be in? So I think that this week, my biggest focus and my intention for the week is just going to be on focusing on the things that expand building the life that I want. And I think that for me personally, that looks like focusing on presence. Just focusing on presence and focusing on gratitude. I think that when we are in the loop, of course, it's always feelings from the past, things from the past that we can't really go back and change, or anxieties and thoughts and pressure about the future. And so putting focus on the peace of the present moment, and just focusing on what I can build from. I may not have this, or we may not have that, or we may be coming from this space, but what can I build from right now? And is what I'm focusing on in this current moment building the life that I want, or taking me further away from it? So yeah, quick and simple this week, you guys. I want to thank you for sitting with me on this. And if you're in a season where it feels like things are stuck or slow or even just uncertain and not very clear, like, know that you are not alone. It's so interesting when you attune your algorithm. I feel like I've been seeing so much more videos and people that are, starting over at 40, starting over at 50, starting over at 30. And I think that it's a starting over season, and that's okay. Let me know what you're focusing on that you can build from. What is something that you have consistently been focused on, and is what you're focusing on helping lead you and guide you and take you toward the life that you want? Or has your focus been on some of the things that you are lacking in, which is essentially causing you to get frustrated and stay in that space of lack? Let's talk about it. Let me know. Thank you for stopping by. Happy Manifesting Monday, and I will see you guys next week.